I'm Meredith Bell, your voice of encouragement. When I was on my way home from work one day, I had turned onto the road that leads to my house, and I saw that the road was flooded in a low spot. This can happen sometimes after a strong storm blows through and it's high tide. There was a car in front of me that was about 50 feet back from the water, and it would drive forward and back up, drive forward and back up, and the driver did this about 3 different times. Clearly, she wasn't sure whether it was safe to move ahead. Well, I decided just to wait and see what she did next, and she ended up rolling down her window and waving her arm in the air. I didn't know what that meant, so I just waited, and then she put her car in park, jumped out of the car, slammed the door, and stomped back towards me. And then she started yelling at me. She was obviously very upset. She said, "You can try to go through if you want to, but I'm not going to try to cross that water." And then she got back in her car. I decided I would go ahead and move closer to the water and check it out. And when I did, I looked down and I could see it was only a few inches deep. So I took my foot off the accelerator and just glided through and got to the other side just fine. When I looked in my rearview mirror, I saw that this woman was still very upset. She couldn't decide what to do. Her emotions had overruled her ability to assess the situation rationally. When you face a situation that appears dangerous or difficult in some way, it's easy to get overwhelmed by anxiety or anger or some other negative emotion. You can start imagining that something really bad is going to happen, and so you get paralyzed and do nothing. And then the lack of action just reinforces your fear, and you can end up lashing out at others in your frustration, just like this woman did. It's important to use reason to balance your emotion when you're responding to what's going on around you, because the two combined can lead to better decisions and more effective actions. You want to listen to your intuition and your instincts, and then also examine logical and practical considerations. So when you're in a tough situation, what I'd like to suggest that you do is step back and ask yourself 2 questions before you start imagining the worst possible outcome. First, what assumptions are causing you to worry or feel afraid? And second, how can you check whether those assumptions are actually true? You see, when you focus your energy on addressing these 2 questions, what happens is you're forced to engage your logical left brain to think about the answers. This in itself will help you calm down, and you'll probably end up handling the situation very well. Just remember that you already have everything you need to apply common sense and sound judgment to any challenge you face.